My name is Ed Blaze. This is my podcast. The difference between rappers and MCs, rappers spit rhymes that are mostly illegal. But when it comes to MCs, they spit rhymes that uplift the people. I'm done being a rapper. It's time to become MC. If you want to be an MC like me, all you need to do is to be a rap dictionary and a rap fictionary. Wake up, take up the pillow out of your head and put the dictionary. Consistency is the key. You need to continue doing this same act until you begin to notice a change, both in the way you talk, the things you think about, and do. This can only be happening fast enough if you pick up the pen and write a beat every night to bring the beat to the light. A couple of years ago, I could not even do a shit. Oops. My bad. Don't mind my language. I mean to say, a few years ago, I would not easily comprehend stuff like I do now. Practice to me make one become better in whatever you're doing. But remember that. Show me your friend, and I'll tell you who you are. I got a cool nigga that was so dope that if you sit around him for 2 hours, I bet you'll get high. He was a nice guy and was a fantastic rap artist. He was not a rap fanatic like me though, but does good music as far as I'm concerned. We hang out together all through while I was growing up as a young dude. So I give credit of most of my rap influence to a young Moloch. I guess he's no longer young. During those days, I spent most of my time in the church choir. At some point, I even became a choir master. That is to tell you that the background was checked. My parent was a disciplinarian. My dad was so no nonsense man. My mom was so connected to her spiritual life that she tries always to carry along the family. These two individuals have expressed so many times. I have expressed so many times throughout my life and will not stop to how I admire and love and respect them so much for many reasons. I feel like I am the favorite person in the world just because of their upbringing. I even give them kudos for bringing me to this world. First time and only time someone ever told me how to understand rap music is how to do it right was young Moloch, my best friend. We were consumed with one another mutual friendship that would wake up and come to my house and early in the morning, afternoon and night. I was doing the same shit. We learned both the good and the bad from each other. No gay shit, but damn it, I love that nigga. He was really very interesting to hang around. We had great conversations every time we were together in the room. That's why I remember that fact, and I appreciate his music journeys. We grew up on the north side, so precisely Sabotage in Kaduna State. That's my hood. That's why in this podcast, I titled it African Igbo Boy, because I'm an African, I'm from Nigeria, I'm an Igbo boy from Ebonyi State, and I grew up in the north. So I had the northern life experience. That brings us to my main point for today's session, why I decided to tag myself with those prefaces. African Igbo boy, African Igbo-Hausa boy. It's simple. I lived most of my childhood life growing up as a kid in the north, Kaduna State. Though I traveled back to my state when I was a younger teenager. And so most of my life influences in both character and the way I talk had their traces from where I came from. I love Crocodile City. I rep that city. It's my city. As in, its activities they bust my brain. I'm even considering Kaduna as a possibly retirement plan. If you have been in Kaduna State or you have lived there, you understand why. When I visit Kaduna, I always have 1,001 places to go to. I have correct coded cliques I could hang out with. I still have a lot of good friends that I could bet could die for me and that still live in Kaduna State. I love the long distance money coming on the street. I loved that almost everyone was posh kid. There was always niggas to hang out with if you want to play basketball or football or tennis or snooker, any sport you could think of. Takes my breath away to see how things are done there because my environment was cool. Anyway, my conversation with us all today is going to be on how I grew up and how my life influence has made me who I can proudly identify myself as an African Igbo-Hausa boy. Grew up listening to all kind of music because I was a choir. I was in a choir on the church, so I listened to Catholic Christian musicals. And because I had friends that I loved hip hop, I was listening to good hip hop music like Cannibals, Immortal Technique, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Talib Kweli, Nas, Tupac, Mobb Deep, and many other good rap Nigerian music. But I can always prefer listening to hip hop music, except few selected Nigerian hip hop artists like MI, LD, Ice Prince, Jay-Z, and Nigerian music, and many more. But then it was mainly rap music. To me, hip hop is not just the fact that you're rapping, it is the attitude and the culture that is behind it. If I'm to say, I think rappers should focus more on their actual voice and their own technique. There's a difference between technique and gift of natural vocals. I believe you get your technique from your experience. And since you get your experience from your environment, that is who you are. And that is what you identify yourself as. Any otherwise is faking identity. I believe I'm an African Igbo-Hausa boy because I have an Igbo dad and a Kosovian mom. But I was born and brought up in the north. That is what makes me half northerner and half easterner. I bet you could see where the prefix African Igbo-Hausa boy came from. I know most of us have seen cases of Nigerians living in the UK who say, my parents are Nigerian because of where I grew up. Most of my influential language is English and Pidgin English, even though I speak a bit of Igbo and a bit of Hausa. But I'm not yet proudly saying I can speak Igbo or Hausa too well, like I speak English language. I was born and bred in the north. Then I moved to the east, early in my 20s. But back then it was cool when I hear people speak. It's just English. I would typically say I'm an Igbo boy, but always went ahead to explain that I was born and brought up in the north, so I wouldn't say they would say I don't look like an Igbo boy, and I would say this scenario always happens, which is normal to me. Let's take an example. I'm using myself as a case study here. If I relocated to the United States soon as I get married to a foreigner, Does not matter where the foreigner come from. We moved together and lived happily after in the US. If we should have children and they have never been to Nigeria or where their mommy is from, if you should ask me where I am from, I would say I'm from Nigeria. But if you should ask my children where they are from, they will probably say they are from the United States because they were born and raised in the US and most of their dominant life experience is from that part of the world. In the same way, I want you to see reasons why I don't need to pick. I don't pick offense with the name of this podcast if you are an Igbo boy, because African Igbo-Hausa boy is what I choose to name this podcast. Even though I'm really from the East, but I remember that I lived in the North and almost all my life growing up, and it is part of my identity and part of who I am and what I have become, and should never neglect that in any way. I love the fact that I'm an African Igbo-Hausa boy because it has given me the opportunity to learn both techniques, culture, and took leverage on that, and that helped shape my personality and made me a better person. But I want you to put sentiment aside and try to understand the logic that is applied here. Take Donald Trump, for instance, the 45th president of the United States of America. His grandfather, Frederick Trump, who migrated to the US from Germany at the age of 16. He was a German. As will be considered by today's standard, Donald Trump's father, Fred, was born in the United States. He's considered an American, so his son, Donald Trump, who is currently the president of the United States, is also a citizen of the US. Now the question should be, would German be angry that Donald Trump did not identify as a German immigrant, even though he was born in the US? This is the end of my session on African Hausa Igbo boy. Let me get your comment on the comment section.